It's time for your statewide Alabama weathercast.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and this is your mid-morning forecast update. And it's been very foggy to start off the day around the state. We've got some of our pictures from our sky watchers showing some of that. This is from Cheris, Webster, and Roanoke, kind of on the eastern side of the state, so good bit of fog there in that area, in their yard there. And as we look at Valerie Hughes, she was driving on 2059 near McCalla, and very thick fog there. That definitely doesn't look like super great driving conditions. Again, this was earlier this morning. A lot of it has started to lift and start to dissipate in most of the state. This was a really cool Skycam time lapse we did from Gulf Shores this morning. We did one yesterday, but notice this is a little bit different today. We start off with a similar kind of flow where we're getting some inland fog with the land breeze going out into the Gulf. But then you see here about around this time, there starts to be some turbulence right there offshore, which is basically you have two different air masses kind of colliding there, kind of a boundary set up. And then all of a sudden, a big bank of sea fog just kind of overwhelms everything and starts moving in off the Gulf and pushing inland. So you start off again with that inland fog going out, and then you have the sea fog coming in as we expect to have a little bit of probably the pressure gradient starting to kick in to pull in some southeasterly winds, and we're going to be seeing more of that as we head towards tomorrow with the system moving in off from the west. It's going to bring us our rain chances. But again, really cool looking Skycam time lapse here. It cleared out for a little bit, then the fog rolled back in again. And the last time I looked at the camera, we'll see here in a second, in a few minutes. The last time I looked at it, it was still fairly foggy there. Now our visibility has improved across a good portion of the state compared to what I saw in the last hour or two, but you still have 2 mile visibility in Alexander City. It's 5 miles in Tuscaloosa. Down towards the coast, it's improving, but it's 6 miles in Mobile. It was 0 last time I looked at this. Again, we're seeing improvement in the visibility after that really foggy start this morning. As we look at the satellite and radar, the southeastern part of the state is seeing a good bit of sunshine at this point, and kind of like yesterday, we're starting off with decent amount of cloud cover in the northern part of the state. Not seeing as much of that really low overcast that hung around pretty much the entire day that we saw yesterday. Not seeing that as much, at least in central Alabama right now, but still some cloud cover, which again could make it where some of the areas in the northern part of the state don't get quite as warm as they could otherwise. We may not have the better chance of breaking records in that part of the state. Also, you'll note that we'll have some showers and maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder moving into North Mississippi right now, and we expect that that's going to graze kind of the very far north part of the state over the course of the rest of the day today. So places like Lauderdale County, also in parts of Limestone County, maybe Lawrence counties, Madison counties, kind of the northern edge of that generally north of the Tennessee River. We'll probably see a few showers and maybe, again, a few rumbles of thunder possible in that very far northern part of the state. But the rest of the state's going to stay absolutely dry today, and there'll be lots of sunshine, and it'll be very warm. Now, as far as the fog is concerned, the dense fog advisories, we had dense fog advisories over the entire state earlier. The last of those expired at 10 as far as inland, but we still have this marine dense fog advisory for Mobile Bay and the coastal waters that goes for a couple of more hours. So there's still a fog bank kind of sitting out over the waters at this point, but most of the inland fog has started to dissipate and mix out enough that they have let the rest of those expire. And we see that looking at our sky cams. Visibility is improving compared to what these were showing in the last couple hours. At 67 degrees in Russellville, still some clouds around, but you can at least see a good ways into the distance there. You see the dew points at 66 degrees, and we've had those dew points and temperatures right next to each other here this whole morning, and that's where we've seen the fog. Hatton's at 67 degrees. Again, this is looking like better visibility than what we were seeing earlier this morning. As we continue the tour and see where we might have a little bit lower visibility. Coleman still maybe a little bit lower visibility off towards the Ferris Wheel, everything there with the Cross-Canal Market Fair grounds that they're going to be starting things off tonight. But you can see it's 64 degrees there and just a little bit of a breeze out of the south-southwest. In Birmingham at the Region Center, visibility definitely better there, and it was better earlier as well. So not quite as much dense fog in the last couple of hours, although there was definitely low visibility earlier in the morning in the Birmingham area. As we move to Tuscaloosa, again, you can see pretty good there as well, 69 degrees there. And you see there's a little bit of a bigger space between the temperature and the dew point, which again helps to not have fog around. Now, as we move further to the south, Abbeville, really good visibility there. 74 degrees there, warming up. We're already getting into almost the mid 70s, and we expect this part of the state certainly to get into the low 80s this afternoon. And again, we could see a few records fall potentially, especially in the southern part of the state. Fairhope looking really nice as well. Had a big fog bank offshore earlier, but it's looking pretty nice out there now, fairly calm, 69 degrees there with a dew point of 69 degrees, so a good bit of moisture in place. And we expect the moisture will continue to kind of stick around as we get through the rest of the day today and then tomorrow with that storm system coming. And Gulf Shores has cleared out for the most part. Looks like if you look back further towards the west that maybe you're still seeing some of the fog or low clouds hanging around, but at least where we're located here, things have cleared out a good bit, and beautiful color there showing in the waters. All right, so your low temperatures so far today, we got into the 50s generally in kind of the eastern and southeastern part of the state, got down to 54 in Eufaula, 55 in Montgomery, only hit 60 degrees in Huntsville, only got to 69 degrees in Demopolis, so again, fairly warm in some spots for this time of year, but pretty mild otherwise. Here's the story, a few showers in the north part of the state today, like we mentioned earlier, kind of grazing the northern edge of the state near the state line with Tennessee, generally north of the Tennessee River, but there could be some that get a little bit further south of that. Periods of rain tomorrow. We'll have rounds of showers and maybe a few thunderstorms moving through with this system tomorrow, where we expect more of the state to get some rain with this, although the southeastern corner is still not going to get a whole lot. After this moves through, we'll have a few lingering showers into parts of Saturday, but generally will be mostly dry for Saturday for most parts of the state, and certainly on Sunday we expect to be fairly dry. Temperatures right now, we're going to be seeing 60s and 70s across the board right now. 74 already in Birmingham, at 73 in Selma. You see it's 69 in Demopolis, and we're warming up to 75 degrees already in Andalusia, 76 degrees already in Greenville, so definitely heading towards those low 80s into the afternoon here. And that's where we expect things to kind of end up this afternoon for the forecast highs. Temperatures around 80 degrees in Montgomery. Andalusia could see that as well, 81 in Geneva and Dothan. Further to the north, upper 70s, probably the ceiling there. We've got enough cloud cover around. We'll just have to see how many breaks in the cloud cover we get. But I think generally that's going to be sticking around enough to keep things from getting as warm in the northern part of the state. And again, part of that too is we got this stalled boundary here that eventually will be basically starting to lift as a warm front over the course of the day today as a low pressure continues to develop back to our west. So this is the system that will be bringing the better chance of rain for tomorrow as it moves in our direction. But this front draped over us here that starts to lift, that's going to be where those rain and showers and a few storms are pushing through the northern tier of the state as we get into this afternoon, but high pressure to the south of that. So again, most of the state still staying dry and not really seeing any rain chances at all for the rest of the day today. Here's a look at the futurecast. So again, depicting the showers there in North Mississippi. And again, as we move through this afternoon, showers starting to build into places like Florence, Athens, and also moving through parts of Lawrence counties and also Franklin counties. And so some of those areas in the far north could see maybe a heavier shower as well. A little bit further south than that, you might see a stray shower even as far south as Jefferson County potentially, but it's not really looking like a very big chance of those. And of course, we saw some drizzle yesterday. Might be a little bit more of that you start to see. As we get into tomorrow morning, that's when we start to see more showers starting to show up, not just in North Alabama, although North Alabama has the better chance, but further down to the south as well. And then we expect more widespread showers and a few thunderstorms as we move through tomorrow afternoon. You can see a pretty good cluster there in places near Selma, Greenville, and Montgomery along the 65 corridor. And we could certainly see some thunderstorms, but we don't expect severe weather. We don't have all the ingredients. We don't have enough instability in place. The profiles of the atmosphere are not conducive to severe weather. So again, we're hoping we can get as much rain out of this as possible. Now, as we look at Friday night, we have some different events going on around the state. Including some of the last high school playoff games. You're still expecting to have, especially in central Alabama, a few showers and thunderstorms around, but there are going to be a number of places, a good bit of places around the state that will not be seeing rain during that time, but things will be kind of passing through. So even if you get a shower or storm, it should pass through fairly quickly. Now, as we get into the overnight period, maybe another heavier round right along the front as it's pushing to the south, moving through the northern part of the state, but things start to wash out as we get into Saturday, so that as you start to get the northwesterly flow behind the front, just a few showers hanging around, especially in the southern part of the state through the rest of the afternoon, and then things clear out into Sunday. Then we look back off to the west, Monday, things starting to develop again for our next round of potentially some rain and thunderstorms that we're expecting more in the Tuesday and Wednesday timeframe. This rainfall outlook includes both what we're going to see tomorrow and that Tuesday, Wednesday timeframe. So looking a little bit more optimistic for the rain totals, especially in the northern part of the state. 2.5 inches possibly in Birmingham. Fairly widespread totals, could be 1 to 2 inches in that part of the state. Unfortunately, as you move southeast, as has been the theme for a while, not doing as well there, maybe only a 1/4 inch in some of those spots. But we'll hope for better than that. But it would be nice to get this much rain over a good portion of the state. That would be helpful for the drought. All right, here's your 7-day forecast for the northern half of the state. Again, showers in the far north part of northern Alabama, but as you move further to the south, then the chances of rain today drop off dramatically. We'll still expect to be fairly warm with temperatures in the 70s. And then again, we'll get the mild lows as we have a good bit of moisture in place. Best chance of rain tomorrow as we move into Saturday, a few showers left over. And then we see a little bit of a cool down as we head into early next week. But then again, we have the rain chances or the storm chances trying to come in on Tuesday and Wednesday with that next system coming through. And then for the southern half of Alabama, expect more sunshine today than the northern half of the state and expect to be warmer, highs into the low 80s. Similar thing again tomorrow. A little bit later, arrival of any showers and storms. It'll be probably later in the day on Friday into the nighttime period. And then a few showers lingering a little bit longer into Saturday in the southern half of the state. Then again, dry out for a couple of days after that before our next chance of some showers and maybe some thunderstorms coming in kind of late Tuesday and into Wednesday. That is your Alabama forecast update. We appreciate you watching us here on the Alabama Weather Network.